Hello, hello, hello. We're live. Don't know how many people we have in here yet. My thing's really slow to show stuff, so we'll pull the video up here. Hello, hello. Do I know you in real life other than YouTube life? If so, I'm not sure who you are. Hello, Dragon Lair. Hello, Sandy. Welcome. I haven't seen you in a while, Sandy. I've been kind of not very consistent with my live streams, so thank you for coming. Yeah, we're gonna do some. Oh, oh, one of the kids at the house here. Hey, Steph, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. So yeah, we've been doing like mostly clownfish stuff lately. So I guess I've been itching to do some more shrimp stuff, and especially some more shrimp stuff on YouTube because yeah, I just haven't been doing a whole lot, and I do get a lot of shrimp questions. So this is the time to ask them. So what I'm actually going to do today is the tank right behind us. Let's see how well I work here. Right there is we are going to actually do a maintenance on it. Basically, I cut back the plants, check the water parameters, do a water change. We will go through how to mix the water and basically what we're doing in that tank to keep it a successful tank. So hopefully it's a bit of a educational video. At the same time, I'm getting some work done, and we can just chat while I'm getting some work done. So that's basically the idea of it. Tyler, that's who you are. I wasn't sure who you were up there. We got lots of kids upstairs, so you might hear some banging and crashing from upstairs. Don't worry, everything's okay. It's just teenagers. So yeah, this morning, as you see, there's a tool bag in the background. I've been working on building a 55-gallon sump filter. So I purchased some acrylic this morning and some different adhesives, and I've been working away at building that. It's coming along, stinking up the basement pretty good, but it's so I might be high from fumes from that today. It's but it's coming along, and I bought acrylic so I can drill and everything else and make this sump just the way I want it. Hello, Donald Fish Vibes. Welcome. So instead of looking at my ugly mug, you'll still be able to hear me. But this is the shrimp tank in question that we're going to do a bit of cutting back to. Then maybe we'll actually be able to see that Lego stuff in there. It's all from Frozen, whatnot. Nicole helped design this tank. And you can see there's one little green dragon ancestress left in that tank too. I don't find, I had someone mention that to me, that they thought that their ancestress were picking off young fish and whatnot. I don't know. I don't know if they do, because I've had baby shrimp in here. There's not any young babies in there right now, I don't think. Hence why I think we need to do a maintenance. But even in my other tanks, I have one or two ancestress just to help clean up. And I usually make sure it's a young fish. And they're thriving with baby shrimp. So I don't think if they do pick off any, I don't think they pick off very many. But some may ask what the fork in the tank is for. The fork is just holding down that little piece of zucchini. Hello, Vinovsky Tanks. Good afternoon to you too. So yeah, this is what the tank we have to work on. It's a 20-gallon cube, and yeah, it's needs a cutback. There's lots of rotella in there and lots of guppy grass. There's an anubias at the very back. Lots of different plants in here. And yeah, they all got to be cut back. Yes, Donald, that is a bristle nose. It's a green dragon short fin bristle nose. Just a young fella. I called it an ancestris because that's what I choose to call them. But yes, the common name for them is bristle nose or bushy nose. Like I was saying, it doesn't seem to cause any problems in the tank. I'll probably remove it soon and just put another very young one in there. But yeah, so this is what we're gonna work on. That jungle looks fine. Yeah, it does, but it's not bad. I like to cut it back. There's some pest plants in there as well. I don't even know what they're called, but they're like impossible to get rid of. Absolutely impossible to get rid of. So I just try to control them in there because they are very bad. But yeah, it still needs a water change. The other thing I want to go through. I know Steph is here, and Steph, I know, is looking for some more information on the care of Cardinia shrimp. So we'll go back to the picture here before I start stirring it up and making a mess in there. So that substrate that you see is that's Ammonia ADA, and that it's an active substrate. It's some type of volcanic ash. I don't know what the heck's all in it, but it is a very organic and active substrate. And what I mean by active is that, okay, so an inactive substrate generally doesn't, oh, look at that stuff. We were thinking about the same time. An inactive substrate doesn't alter your water chemistry. And what I mean by that, it doesn't change your pH levels, it doesn't change your water hardness levels. An inactive substrate really doesn't do much for your tank at all other than to anchor plants down. You might get some good beneficial tank bacteria. You'll get some biofilm growing on it and in it. But other than that, it doesn't do too much. Active substrate is very much a double-edged sword. Active substrate provides fertilizer, nutrients for your plants. That's why I can tell you I add basically zero fertilizer to this tank and they grow like mad. That's because of the active substrate. The active substrate also produces ammonia. I will repeat that. It also produces ammonia. Hey, Steve. Welcome, welcome. If you want to come on as well, Steve, just let me know and I'll send you an invite. So it produces ammonia, which everybody would think, you know what, that sucks, that's terrible, and it does suck, and it is terrible. It makes things more difficult. So in order to combat that ammonia, you have to have a cycle tank. You will know when you do not have a good cycle in your tank because you will have ammonia in your water. If you have a good cycle in your tank, it will keep up with the ammonia. Now, why do we need an active substrate for these shrimp? We need an active substrate for these shrimp because they want no carbonated hardness in the water whatsoever. Hey, Roscoe. We just got joined by Roscoe. He got kicked down here. Go lay down, Roscoe. Lay down. Down, 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 down. Get out of my water. Get down. Down, please. Lay down. Thank you. Sorry about that. Roscoe's joined us, so he's being a pain in the ass. Anyways, active substrate, it produces ammonia, but what it also does is it pulls out carbonate hardness from your water column and buffers. So carbonate hardness is the buffering in your water. If you're using very low pH and ppm water, your water chemistry can bounce from acid to alkaline very, very easily. It's not very balanced. So this substrate takes the carbonate hardness out of the water. So you will have a 0 carbonate hardness rating with this substrate, but it will act as a much better buffer than the carbonate hardness would have in the tank, and it will keep you with a very stable pH. Your GH is not affected, and I generally keep between 2 and 4 general hardness in the tank, but your KH, carbonate hardness, will be removed from the tank. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. I guess bottom line, what I'm saying is you need to have a good cycle in your tank to use this substrate. So this substrate, I generally start cycling my tanks with this substrate, and I generally don't even touch them. I'll throw a few plants in them and a sponge filter, and I will not touch the tank for 6 weeks. I leave it for 6 weeks to develop a strong cycle. Get my water, Roscoe. So I hope that was an okay rundown about my pet Roscoe while we're doing this. Keep him out of trouble because he was just into my water again. Let me just get caught up here. Okay, sorry, one sec, guys. I just gotta get him situated. He's being a pain. Down, down, lay down. Now stop. Leave it. Okay. Lay down. I'm gonna have to do something with you. Lay down. Stay. So Roscoe is our Bernese Mountain Dog puppy still. Oh, he's gonna go to his spot. Good. Go and lay down. Get in your spot. Go lay down now. Now. Move it. Go lay down, please. And apparently he was being a jerk upstairs, so he got sent down here. But he just laid down in his spot, so he'll be good now. He's like 1.5 years old and still just pretty needy. Yes, those are crystal red shrimp. They most definitely are. And yes, plants will, but they won't for the amount. If you don't have a good cycle with this substrate, it doesn't matter if you have plants in there or not, you will have ammonia. Who do I miss? Oh, hi, Streetwise. Welcome. Rockford Fish Keeping, welcome. So yeah, you have to have a good cycle. You have to be patient with these tanks and have a good cycle. Like I said, this tank, when I set it up, I would have set it up with a seeded sponge filter, but I also still left it. This was actually a tank I set up just because I had an overflow of crystal reds. And I needed more space for them. So that's why I set that up. I hope that answers the questions I had about substrate, though. I don't know what else to say about this substrate. I pretty much said it all. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to, one thing I like to do when I do a maintenance check is make sure that my tank is still in a good cycle and that I don't have any ammonia. So we're going to do an ammonia test right now. Hello, Bob. Welcome. Didn't know you were in here. Good to see you. So an ammonia test is something I do every time I do maintenance on these tanks. No, you need to go lay down, Roscoe. Down. Go lay down. Now. Go lay down. Down. Lay down. He's extremely stubborn right now. Stay. Alright, so take our little thinger here. Test tube. I just use the API. I got too much. Perfect. So, just our little test tube. This is the test kit here that I use. Just an API Ammonia Test Kit. Very simple. So it comes with 2 bottles. Bottle 1 and bottle 2. There's Roscoe. He's in the video now. Lay down, please. So bottle 1. I better get him situated before I do this again. I'm taking him upstairs. Hey, come on. Get in your spot or you're going upstairs. Come on, go please. Go lay down. Alright, he's in his spot again, I think. Lay down, now. He's not doing it. But anyway, so 8 drops of each. They keep it very simple. So 1, 2, 3, 8 drops of that one. I always give him a shake first too. 1, 2, 8 drops of that one. Put the cap on. I shake it for a few seconds anyways. Okay, then we wait a couple minutes. I can already tell you it's going to be good just looking at it. So we'll just give that about a minute or 2, and we'll be able to know whether or not we have ammonia or not. You can go by these charts they give you. I don't know, some of the colors kind of look the same, but if it's yellow, it's yellow, bottom line, and that's what you want is yellow. 0.25 means you got too many shrimp in there probably. What you want is actual yellow. If it's into like 2 or 4 or even 1, you're in big trouble with shrimp. They don't have a tolerance for ammonia whatsoever. All right, let's see what I missed. Rockford fish keeping. Jan, being you do shrimp, I assume you use sponge filters. Do you know if they make a coarse sponge like ARI Pro ones for those suction cup duals? I don't know. I do have a couple of those suction cup duals. I'm sure you could get a coarse one. So you're talking like a 10 or 20 pores per square inch instead of like 50. I'm not sure. I'd have a look around on Amazon and whatnot, actually. That might be your best bet. You might be able to find them. Streetwise says, has anyone found the perfect nano power head for a sponge filter for horizontal flow? That's a good question. I don't use power head, so maybe somebody could find that out. So anyways, we've waited a couple minutes here, and that's what we have. It's yellow. Yellow is yellow. Oop, can't see it. It's hard to tell. Like I said, I don't know how else to do it here, but it's yellow. So we're good. We are ammonia free. And that's good to check once in a while as well. One thing I would check as well, if you have a Caridina shrimp tank with an active substrate and it's been running for more than 2 years, I would probably give it a monthly check for your KH or carbonate hardness as well. If you're starting to develop some carbonate hardness, which you shouldn't anyways if you're using the right mineral salts, but if you are, that's a sign that that your substrate is becoming less active, because it will lose all its activeness at some point. So what I'm going to do is, if this will reach, and hopefully it does, I can do this freely, I'm going to move over here like so. We'll switch this over to the other camera. Perfect. We can move that around as well, not a big deal. Maybe we can move it back a bit so you can see what we're doing. All right. So what we're going to do, start with, so I'm just going to take some water out for a bit of a water change. One thing I would like to show you is the lack of the, oh God. There we go, folks. I just unplugged the camera by accident. We'll go back to this one. There we go. I had unplugged the camera by accident, but we got her now. What I was trying to do is show everybody it's hard to do when this is on a tripod, but this tank, it's pretty loaded with plants. It's got just a little bit of duckweed on top, and that's the way I like to keep it. So when I scoop water out, I'm not scared to get the duckweed in it and throw it out, because one little piece of duckweed will look like this by the next time I trim plants and whatnot anyways. Sorry, I'll just catch up on a couple questions here before I get scooping water here. Donald Fish5 says, what happens to shrimp under heavy flow from a power head? Can they withstand this? I guess it depends. What you consider heavy flow. I don't actually do heavy flow in any of my shrimp tanks, just a very simple sponge filter. But I would assume as long as you have some breaks from the flow and some places where they don't have to hang on for dear life all the time, they would probably be just fine. These plants up front here are just rotella, Bob. Just your simple rotella, and there's some guppy grass mixed in with them as well. Hi, Dee, how are you? And that's right, Streetwise, because when I use Matten filters, they're always trying to get in against the flow on a Matten filter, so I don't think it bothers them at all. So anyways, we'll get a bit of water out of here, start our water change. I don't mind if I get a little guppy grass as well, just because there's tons of it in here. So I'm only going to do about a 5-gallon water change on this tank. Look how long that is, jeepers. Somebody was saying it's a perfectly good looking jungle. Look how long this rotella is. I'll pull the camera up. It's out of the water by 10 inches. Time for a trim. Steph says, does TDS matter? Say we're using 0 TDS RO water. What's the point of remineralize? And how do you know how much to remineralize? just base it off TDS? That's actually a great question, stuff. I'm actually gonna get to that. I use shrimp salts, and this is how I've been able to figure out how to keep things stable. We're gonna get to it because I'm actually gonna show you how to mix it. But I use this here. This is the shrimp salt I choose to use. Sorry, trying to get it so you can see it. It's B shrimp. It's just GH plus. There's no KH in it. And I do base my TDS off of this. If I'm starting with 0 RO water, mine's actually about 20. I'm trying to achieve a TDS between 90 and 110 basically. So using this, yes, I do base it off of TDS, and that's the only way. It's the only way I can figure out how to keep things stable. My audio treble is heavy. Not sure, bud. I'm just using this cheap headset, so I'm not sure how I can change that. So yeah, I hope that answers your question a bit, Steph. But this is what I use to remineralize, and you have to remineralize because they do need stuff in the water. They do need some of the minerals and whatnot in the water. Yeah, most fish do, and shrimps especially do because they have shells. But yeah, so that's how I keep it stable. And I think if I can emphasize anything, it's just the fact that we need to keep the water chemistry stable. That's the most important thing for them. If your TDS is up a little high or your TDS is a little low, that's not the end of the world, but what is good is that it's just absolutely stable. So we're just going to scoop out a little bit more here. What I hate about this tank and a few others, I'll put it back to this camera in a sec, but there's this stringy crap that we got from China. I'm not going to start calling it the China virus, but it is a plant that we got with seed packs from China, and some of the seeds were really cool and grew neat plants. And then there was this one, which is just a pest. It grows everywhere. It's stringy. It seems to almost want to choke a lot of plants out. So I like to try to pick a lot of that away when I do my water changes. There's a big string of it. I don't know if you can see that right on the front of the jug. This crap here. That stringy crap, that's what I'm talking about. So the more of that I can get out of here, the better too. So I don't like it. And that's what it's all about with your tanks. It's what you like, not what someone else likes or what someone else tells you have to do. It's what you like. As long as you can provide the necessities of life and provide your aquarium inhabitants with a good life, then the rest of it's all up to you, what you like. Oh, sorry. There we go. Yeah, so we're going to do that in a second, Bob, when I go to refill the aquarium. First, we're just going to take a little bit of crap out of here and do a little bit of trimming. And I can tell the one thing I forgot to bring over here for doing trimming is a pair of scissors. So I'll be back in one sec with a pair of scissors. So as we're gonna change this camera so you guys can see what's going on here. Alright. So trimming, I don't do anything special about it. I basically just take the plants and cut them off. There's really, people can make it sound complicated, but it doesn't matter how you trim these plants. They'll grow back. They just keep growing back. So they just grow back. You can take these, you can replant them into your aquarium. But there is that stuff I was talking about. That's the pest I'm trying to get out. Ross goes back. So I just put these in a different container. Alright, be good. Just be good. Here's a really long one. I cut them back fairly short just because I don't get the chance to do this all that often. So, I don't know. I guess the biggest thing is it gives you a chance to check the entire tank out and see if there's any problems going on, issues. Get that slimy stuff off. But there's quite a bit of that in here. Got these ones back as well. But these are great clippings if you want to restock another tank. Anything. Some of these I'll just take as a great big bunch. A whole bunch at once. Like that's a huge bunch of Rotella. All at once. What I will do is actually rid them of any parasites. That parasite plant I was talking about, I'll make sure they don't have anything like that on them. And I may replant them. And I may not. We'll see. Got some floaters here. I like to be able to see in the tank as well. So when you start getting this full of everything, you can't see what's going on at all. That's getting better already. Yeah. What I did find actually is I have a brush, and it works pretty good if it's a bottle brush, and I can usually wrap it up on the bottle brush pretty good and get it out. Hello, whatever your name is. I can't pronounce it. We'll just call you Life, because that's the words I can read. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's not rooted. It just floats around and clings on. It's like a vine. Ah, okay, you guys are talking about something else up there still. But yeah, it doesn't come off all that easily. It comes off, but it breaks off and it restarts. Yeah, just a pain. Those guys aren't doing bad there. I don't think they needed a trim. This guy will. I tend to take them out of the tank right away. I guess you could wait until they float up to the top and take them out. Gotta stand up for these guys in the back. See, this one I'm just gonna throw out. It's been damaged, not doing so good. Sometimes it's easier to look from the top of the tank. There's some Elodius back here. I don't know if you can see my hand back there a little bit, but there's all kinds of this stuff back here. Take some of it out like that. Gummy grass. There's a lot of guppy grass at the back of the tank. I actually pretty much got the filter covered, and I want to get rid of a little bit of this guppy grass right here so we can actually see some of the Lego attractions in the tank. So right now they're buried in guppy grass. And it's all back behind there. One more scoop. Now the guppy grass will just fall wherever it wants to anyways. That's not looking too bad there. Chair. More. So that's what we got. We should probably flip the boat up, right? Because the boat's all flopped over. Guess that'd be the big thing with any power heads with a shrimp tank too, is making sure the intake for the power head is not going to suck all your shrimp through it and shred them. Because that would happen very easily, especially with shrimplets. It would have to be such a small power head. There we go, got the ship upright. A little area back here is not bad. A little covered in guppy grass. We can move some of that out of the way. Let there be life. But yeah, the guppy grass all back here on the Anubias too. Just choking out the Anubias. There's some of that up. I like a heavily planted tank, but I don't like it jungle. I like to be able to see what's going on. Yeah, everything else seems to be doing fine back here. I don't know if anybody can even see the Anubias in there. Let's see if I can get this camera up high enough. You can see it right at the back of the tank. You can see the Anubias. It's actually coming back. It was doing really poorly for a while. That's one plant I've never had a lot of luck with is Anubias. Against the Flow, hello, welcome to the stream. Against the Flow says I have a 9-gallon setup for shrimp, but still haven't got the shrimp. I have no local fish store, so I'll have to order them. Hello Priscilla, MK. Hello, happy Sunday to you too. How do you protect from dumping newborn shrimplets with this trimming exercise? Really, Donald? I don't do anything, but I always have my hands on what I'm doing. And when I put my hands on it, they generally just take off. They generally move. Now, they are going into a bucket of water that came out of their tank as well. Over here, I'll show you. Sorry, I'm on a tripod here. So just the rotella, I was just throwing in that bucket, and if there was any little shrimps, I'd see them bouncing off of it in the bucket. And all the guppy grass and everything goes into this bucket here. Again, before I dump the bucket, I have a look, see if I got any. I don't see any right now, but we'll have a good look before we dump the bucket if we got any. The only time that wouldn't be effective is if I was rinsing the filter as well, because then it would be absolutely difficult to get them out. So the other thing I'm going to do here, if I can find it, is I got a little net, and I'm just going to, again, try to get a little bit more of that pest stuff out of here. If I catch some guppy grass with it, that's okay too. Steve I know has a hard time with guppy grass. He gets mad at me for doing this, getting rid of guppy grass because he has a hard time with it. But I don't. In these tanks, it grows really easy, and I think it's because of the very soft water. So the pH in my Caradinia shrimp tanks is 6.3 is the average, I'd say. Some a little bit higher, some a little bit lower, but I'd say the average is 6.3. There's none below 6 and there's none above 6.5. And I'm just seeing a little bit more of this stuff. Get a bit more of that duckweed. Just cleans everything up a bit. Moves everything around a bit. Because sometimes too, when you have just a small sponge filter in the back corner, water flow gets prevented from coming to the front. And you'll notice the front of your tank doesn't get moved around much, we'll say, because if you have heavy plants, it just doesn't have the area to flow to the front. I'm learning a lot about flow today, doing this sump for my marine setup I'm doing. It's all about flow. It's quite interesting. I'm having a bit of fun with it, actually. There we go. It's looking not bad. The zucchini is pretty much washed up. So we'll just get that out of there. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Not bad, not bad. Everything's cleaned up pretty good. Shrimp look pretty happy. Lighting for this tank is very simply a shop light. Sorry, things are crunched up here. Just a 4-foot shop light, and I believe this one has no diffuser on it. No diffuser, but there is. I do use these corrugated panels, you see, and it does diffuse light a bit for a lid on top. All right. Let me just check up on the chat here. So yeah, it's not a major thing for maintenance, and really maintenance doesn't take me long when I'm not chatting and whatnot. I can maintain this tank in 20 minutes flat. How often do I maintain it? It depends on the bio load. Yep, depends on the bio load. Yep, that's a good idea, Streetwise. Very good idea. I wasn't too careful with this tank because I know that I don't think there's any baby fries, shrimplets in there. Yes, you are the Anubius guy, Steve. I am not. Anybody else? I said hello to Priscilla. I'm trying. It's hard when you do live streams like this to try to keep the camera going in the right place, seeing what's going on, and trying to explain everything at the same time. But we'll do our best here. Thank you for that, Donald. Okay, so I guess we're up to the point of yeah, we're still yellow, our ammonia test. We're up to the point of showing you guys how I remineralize the water and do a water change. One thing I should mention is I don't use heaters in my shrimp tanks. You don't need hot water, warm water even for shrimp. I'll show you guys right now. We'll just do it while we're here checking this out. I use change my ways. I use a temperature gun now, as you can see here, and I just shoot, and it holds my number for me. So that's what that tank is at right now, 70.8. Most of these tanks here are pretty much about the same. So they're not, it stays very stable down here. It's always between 70 and 72 down here. I can tell you the tank below it is 70.5, a little bit cooler because it's a little bit closer to the ground. Tank above it has a heater in it. Sorry, but this one, look at that, being up 2 feet higher, 72.6. So yeah, as long as it stays stable, it stays pretty good. Look at that, the one beside it, 70.8. So as long as your water you're adding back to your tank is the close or the same temperature as what your tank is, you have no problems. So I have that water right here. I'll check it. It's a little bit cold. 68.1. But to be totally honest with you all, I can add that to this tank. It will not change the tank's temperature by 1 degree, only being 3 degrees off. We're only adding back 25% of the water. So honestly, 3 degrees, I am not concerned about whatsoever. So what we'll do here is I'm going to stand up for all this. Let's change this camera a bit. We can put that up like so. That's better. Get rid of this bucket for now. And we'll get this bucket up here. That out of the road. Alright, so that's our 5-gallon bucket right there with RO water. I do have Tds meter here. Very simple, Tds meter. And I will check the Tds of the tank. I pushed holds to hold it on for you. And the Tds in that tank is 128. That's a little bit high. It's actually quite a bit high for what it's supposed to be. Here, let's try something different so my head doesn't look cut off the whole time. Now that won't go up any higher. Anyways, so 128 is a little bit high. I was having problems with my RO unit last couple of water changes before this. I couldn't get the TDS down, but I still wanted to make sure I had some of the essential salts for them in the water. So I went ahead and just allowed the TDS to be up a little higher. So I will slowly reduce it this time. And this time, I think I'm going to put make the TDS of this bucket, let's say around 105, and that will bring the TDS down to probably about 118, 117, and won't affect them very much at all. Yeah, it's working a lot better, Steve. Working a lot better. Just finished gluing Anubias to some rocks. Oh, very good. You're multitasking, Dragon Lair. All right. So let's see what our TDS is here. TDS here is 23. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of my B shrimp mineral GH plus. There's no KH or CH, if you will. There is no KH in this at all. I do have another type of salt like this, but it is for neocaridina shrimp, and it does have KH in it, as they do require a bit of KH. Now, this is obviously to taste, right? So start with a little bit in a little scooper and work your way up until you have the achieved TDS. It dissolves extremely easy. I'll probably stop there and see what our TDS is. One thing I didn't do is bring a towel over, so I'll grab that. Actually, no, I don't want to use that. Better yet, I'll just get a stirrer. So basically just swish it. It dissolves so easy. I only used about a half a scoop right there. And then check our TDS again. I'm up to 70. Again, so you guys can see. 72 actually. So we need to add just a little bit more. Amazon, Rockford, Amazon. It doesn't hurt to try, Bob. And the nice thing about it is you can make the water exactly what you want. You can make the water exactly what you want. Steph, it depends on your bio load. If you notice you have a lot of shrimp on this tank, about every 2 weeks for me is about how often I do this one. That's all I can speak for. Depends again on your cycle, your bio load, how many plants you got, how many shrimp you got. Me, I do it about every 2 weeks. Really, when I notice that there's been a little bit of evaporation, I do it. I didn't test and say, oh, things are getting bad, I got to do it. I just try to keep up on it. Reef supplies. Yes, our old buddies work pretty good. Okay, so we got to add a little bit more. I don't want to add too much because, like I said, I'm trying to bring the TDS down a little bit. I like to keep my TDS between 100 and 110. All right. Oh, look at that. We nailed it. Nailed it. That's perfect. Ah, okay. That's all I use actually 5-stage RO for my crappy water, but it's my water starts out at 8.2 and 400 for a TDS. So a 3-stage doesn't cut it for me. But anyways, we're exactly where we want to be. So now we simply add the water to the tank. I brought another bucket just in case we need a little bit more water, but I think we should be good. So I try to add slowly. Don't want to stir everything up too bad. I never vacuum the bottom of a shrimp tank, ever. I don't think I ever have. back in the bottom of a shrimp tank. So I just very slowly add the water. Don't want to shock them. Don't want them to think there's a tsunami. I just use a juice jug pitcher. Nice and gentle. That's the thing about shrimp. Everything's gentle with them. You gotta do everything gently. You'll have the best success. Don't change anything too fast. Try to keep everything just kind of stable. Like I said, this will bring my TDS down. Not much, a little bit. The next time I'll bring it down a little bit more, and then we'll probably be right where we need to be. Where to buy those shrimp salts? I guess that's a question that may be asked. I got mine at Shrimp Fever in Toronto. It's a shrimp store in Toronto. They have everything shrimp. It's expensive. It's very expensive. That little container there costs $50. So it is expensive. I have used other products too that work well. I don't remember the names off the top of my head. I've been extremely happy with this product though. Rockford says, I don't want to take everything out as I don't want the extra charge of the stuff I would have to add back in. I guess that's okay, Rockford, but what do you know? You don't know what you're leaving in the water, and you don't know what you're taking out, really, unless you're going to test for all these nutrients and vitamins. So maybe you're taking out stuff that they really need, and you're leaving in stuff that they don't really need. That would be my concern in doing it that way. That's why I like to try to take everything out, and that way I'm putting back in exactly what I want to be putting back in. How many shrimp are in this tank, and how frequently do they reproduce? I don't know. They're very inconsistent with the reproduction right now, and that's because there's a lot of shrimp in this tank. There's probably, I'd say between 100 and 150 shrimp in this tank right now. So when there's this many shrimp, I find they tend to not reproduce as much as, say you only had a dozen shrimp in here. They'd probably all be buried if there's a dozen shrimp in here. All the females anyways. Looks like I didn't need the second bucket. We're pretty good right here. As for the filter, I do the filter about every 3 maintenances. So about every 6 weeks. Again, these are shrimp. Very low bioload. The bioload is very low. More dust from the substrate gets in the filter than actual feces or anything from the shrimp. Not bad, not bad. Everything's gonna settle down in there quite well. Okay, Steph. Yeah, give me a call if you guys get set up. Yeah, that's good water for most fish. Yeah, that's good water. I wish I had that kind of water. I like that kind of water. That'd be great. That would save. Yeah, you'd hardly ever go through a cartridge with RO water, or water with only 50 TDS. That's crazy. Donald says, I'm going to stick to my Neos. This seems like a chemistry class. I switched to business. That's funny. I know it sounds like a chemistry class. Well, hey, Roscoe, you're back. I know it sounds like a chemistry class, but it's really not. It's not as once you actually start doing it, it's not as bad as it really sounds. I got Roscoe back here again. But yeah, I guess for me the biggest issue is that yeah, my water does suck so bad for these shrimp. I'm basically creating water for these shrimp and creating water to how I want it, and it seems to be working. But what I'll do now, just well, we've just seen the crystal reds. I'm almost done the live stream. I only wanted to go for about an hour today. Roscoe's getting restless here. I don't know if we can get Roscoe in the shot. Maybe you can. No. Camera don't go low enough, Roscoe. Yeah, I'll show you some of my other shrimp tanks. I have one that's just exploding. My Red King Kong tank. Let's have a quick look at that. All right, you gotta lay down again. Okay, come on. You're being a good boy. Okay, lay down. Down. I pat you. Be good. Lay down. Down. Now. Down. Good boy. So we will switch the camera. This back. I want you to lay down, Roscoe. Over to here. And what I'll do is I will get this out of here. Make sure I'm long enough to reach here with my audio. And bear with me for one moment. Hopefully everybody doesn't get dizzy, but I'm going to take this off as the tripod without smashing the corner too. Right. There we go. Okay. Sorry guys, this is just a webcam, so I might not be that good at stabilizing it. Okay, so this here is my King Kong tank. It's at the top of the rack, but this tank is producing some unreal specimens. Look at this guy here, right there with the white, with the Missouri band across the back. There's about 10 like that in here from this last batch, which is fantastic. Some of them are coming in almost white. That guy right there, really, really neat. Got lots of the red wines, like this guy up front. Lots of the babies are red wine as well. Couple of blacks in there, but they're just doing great. Look at them all back on the filter. They're everywhere. Every square inch has a shrimp or a baby shrimp. Yeah, that guy's a beauty. And then these guys, they all get zucchini as well. So do the snails that are in there. This is the tank that we were just working on. This is basically a sister tank to it. This is my original crystal red tank, and it's quite the jungle itself. Lots of floating plants, tons of crystal reds in this one, tons. And this tank down here, sorry for the dirty glass. This is my blue bolt tank. See if I can hold it steady enough for you. And yeah, this tank, that guy walking right there. You guys are looking at my most favorite shrimp of life right there. That shrimp is, in my opinion, one of the very coolest shrimp I have ever seen. One of the other very coolest shrimp I've ever seen is in the tank next to it here. But we're talking about this guy, and I believe this is called a blue steel. This shrimp has red eyes too. Very, very cool shrimp. Very, very cool shrimp. That is my favorite shrimp I own. But there's quite a wide array of blue bolts in here. I got some red bolts too. I don't know how we got red bolts, but we got red bolts. And if this shrimp cooperates over here, which I don't think it's gonna, because they never do. But yeah, these are our blue bolts. Beautiful. I love the blue bolts. They're coming along. So nice. So nice. This here is the subscriber shrimp tank that we put together like almost a year ago. I think it was last winter. And it's still going strong. And it's got a very, very cool shrimp in here. And it's right there, I believe. It's like a half and half shrimp. Half of it is one design, exactly cut right across the body. The other half is another design. How cool is that? Just some weird stuff. But this is the subscriber shrimp tank. It's got a lot of algae. It's yeah, it needs some maintenance next, but I'm not doing a live stream maintaining these tanks down on the bottom rack. That's just too hard. There's a King Kong in there. Some crystal red. Blue bolt back there. But yes, these are some very, very cool shrimp. If it's still out, I'm going to take my microphone off. You guys aren't going to hear a word I'm saying, but I can reach, and I'll show you my my black King Kong tank, and then we'll probably wrap this up. That's a very, very cool shrimp. Extremely cool shrimp. Hi, you could still hear me. I didn't think you guys could. But anyways, I hope you like that extreme black King Kong. That's like very, very, very cool shrimp. What did I miss? How do you like that? That's not bad for a Lego shark. I used fishing line and pieces of slate to keep it looking like it's swimming. Turned out pretty good. That's been in there and hasn't gotten algae on it or anything. That's over, like probably close to 2 years old. There's a few Canadians in here, streetwise. There's a few. I'm not sure about the German shrimp you're talking about, Dragon Lair. To be totally honest, I am the last guy to find out about anything. I'm the last guy. I do not keep up on the latest trends. I do not keep up on the newest fish out. I don't keep up on anything. I can barely keep up on my own stuff, and hence why I have very spotty live streams. I don't always have time to keep up on everybody else's stuff and that. So I try to do my own, and I even do some live streams like this where I'm actually getting a little bit of work done while I'm doing a live stream. Work's been incredibly busy, and these clownfish have been keeping me incredibly busy with this new rack build that's going on. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear me. I can change my mic. I can change my mic to the Papa look, but we'll save it for another day. I'm just in the middle of making that the clownfish rack sump. So we will see. We should have a Can-Am meetup at the Derby Line Library. I'm into a Can-Am meetup whenever the border opens up. Be honest with you, I don't want the border to open up yet. I think we're still doing a little bit better job at maintaining things here. So, but when it does, yeah, I'd love to have a YouTube meetup or something. That'd be kind of neat. I've been itching for a trip. They're metallic grays and bronzes. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be into the grays or bronzes either. Bronzes might be a little cool. I like the whites and the blacks and the reds and the blues. Those are my favorites in the shrimp. Hence why that's what I have in my shrimp. But anyways, yeah, that's good. We got a water change done, and these guys will be happy. Hopefully they bury themselves up again. They should. And yeah, so maybe next week maybe we'll do another tank, and we'll go through it. Maybe a type of fish, maybe one of the fish tanks. I think it's important to see how maybe other people maintain their tanks and whatnot too. Give you ideas for your own. It gives me ideas when I see how other people do things. Even as simply as the other evening when Steve and I were doing a live stream feeding our fish. Steve asked, Jesse, do you always swish the food with your hand? And when I feed, and I was like, yes, I do. Doesn't everybody? And apparently not. Apparently Steve doesn't. Apparently probably a gazillion other people don't either. But that's just little things everybody does differently, and it changes the behavior of the fish. My fish don't come to the top as much because I let food get down to them. I was always worried though, without swishing like that, the food just stayed at the top for too long. It would soak up too much water and maybe let out too much nutrients before the fish got it. The bottom meters won't get as much. The guys will stay lower. So I don't know. I was just swish. But I guess what I'm trying to say is everybody's got a different way of doing things. And that was just an example I thought of off the top of my head. But it's just neat to see how other people do water changes and everything. So maybe Steve will come on. We'll do like a water change day. We'll just show different techniques, how we go about doing a water change on our tanks. You don't swish either, Dragon Lair. You should try it. Come to the dark side. It works well over here. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So with that, people, I think we're going to call this a wrap. It's almost supper time. Go up, see if what's going on for supper. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Thank you very much, moderators. You know who you are. I appreciate everything you guys do for not only my live stream, but everybody's live streams, and your own channels as well. Well, Steve, you're just gonna have to get off your wallet and go buy a freaking tripod or a phone stand or whatever. And don't think I'm buying you one to do live streams. You're gonna have to get your own. So you're gonna have to go get something. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Dragon Lair. Everybody, have a great Sunday evening and have a nice, safe work week. We'll talk to you later. Bye for now.